I don't think people in the city really understand that how, like how tough it is physically and mentally on our farmers out here. Like they are doing it tough because they've had to sell cattle off because of they're starving and there's no rain, so there's no food.
I've seen a few droughts in my time, quite a few, yes. It's been devastating. You know, pulling sheep and cattle out of dams that have bogged, and then you've got to, shoot them.
The bitumen roads are fine, but then we're dirt. I had to stop to repair the trailer this morning coming into town because our dirt roads are that rough. It's just cracked all the weld in the frame, just from constant use up and down the road. I suppose the cost of it, like now in the drought, when you're feeding stock, for example, supplements for a week for our cattle, we could be looking at $600 to $1,000 a week just in supplements to keep them going. I buy grain, whole grain, from another producer not far from us. I was lucky enough for them to have a wheat crop last year, which has saved me quite a fair bit of money. Otherwise, we've got to buy it from produce places here in town. When we've had rain and we've got green feed, we're not feeding as much. Hay is getting ridiculous to source. Good quality hay is getting ridiculous to source. We were buying bales of Rhodes grass towards the end of last year. We were paying $90 a bale. Now, last Friday when I was in town, I picked up a bale of Rhodes grass hay. It was $168 for a bale of hay, and nowhere near the quality. That just goes to show the demand for it, and with the demand, the price goes up.
It's definitely gotten quieter.
It has, hasn't it?
Since we came here, it's gotten much quieter.
Well, the tennis club just closed. They had a meeting, I think, last week, and that's closed down. So just not enough people to come to. So, you've got to have enough members to pay for the insurance and those overheads for starters. So that had to close.
And the local community groups that are going, like the race club and the camp draft and the pony club, are really struggling to keep the executive positions.
And it's probably not that people don't want to take on the positions. Some people might, but it's more the case that I think people are just busier now to find the time to take on that extra positions.
I think, maybe where they might have not necessarily employed someone, but they may have employed someone, like so for maybe a harvest period or a planting period, or even mustering.
Contract,
they may have employed somebody for that period. They may be more hesitant to do that now, just purely because the funds aren't as readily available to cover those costs. So there's a lot more reliance on yourselves as your workforce. So.
The broader community is very affected by the fact that no longer have you time to even go and engage like you would have in the past. So there isn't the social functions that are on. People are generally just too tired. There is so much you've got to fit into a day, and you've always got so many animals. Animals take up your life. So everything is dictated to by what animals you're feeding. It consumes all your day, really. So from the moment you get up, if you've got potty calves, and the reason you have potties is because their mothers have either died or just they were too weak, they couldn't handle them. So you take them from them, or you just find them out in the bush and they're just being orphaned. So you bring them home, and so you're rearing them. So then you become their mother. So you've got to bottle feed them, you've got to supply them with any chaff or hay. So it's a constant, it's like being a baby, except you have them outside.
So the drought we've been experiencing, a severe drought for 8 years, doesn't just affect the farmers, it also affects our small businesses.
Yes, I have seen big changes especially in Wallumbilla. There's a little store there, and it's, just the shelves have become half empty, because people aren't buying. We just can't, everyone's saving their dollars to pay for the water and to pay for the feed, for their stock, and just their utilities.
With local businesses, we're battling, we're struggling. I've been in my shop for 36 years, this is my 37th year, and I'm really battling and struggling, and so is everyone else in town.
The long-term effects of the drought, I believe, are just a slowly winding down of the availability of cash flow through the business enterprises in town. Obviously, people are losing stock, so that's going to affect their bottom line. Unfortunately, we've had to let staff go. That's already reached that stage. So that again affects the cash flow, which flows through the businesses and creates the ripple effect that goes not only through local businesses, but from our supplier agency as well. There's also another flow-on effect of the cost of meat. I think that will go up. The stock losses we're hearing about are quite horrendous. That's before we get a rain event, which will kill more stock, because that's what happens when they're weak. So really, the long-term effect of this still hasn't been seen. And God knows where it's going to end up.